I feel like we've got a lot of catching up to do. You don't follow me on like any of my other socials, so basically TikTok or Instagram, you may not have seen that I just announced a few days ago that we had a miscarriage, and I have had so many comments and so many questions, and I've honestly just had so many thoughts that I feel like I can't fully express in these other platforms just because they are like short form content. So I kind of wanted to bring it all over to YouTube. I wanted to kind of talk about the journey to conceiving, and then also kind of all about the miscarriage and my thoughts since then. So let's rewind a bit to the start. If you didn't know, I already have two kids, pretty much 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And before I kind of talk about this trying to conceive journey, I feel like it kind of makes sense to start with theirs. So my husband and I were married for about 2.5 years, I think, when we started trying for my son, and it actually did take me 1.5 years to get pregnant with him. I had actually booked an appointment at a fertility centre, and then like 2 weeks before that appointment I found out I was pregnant. And honestly, I don't think that's like super rare for a first pregnancy. Then with my daughter, I got pregnant on the first or second try. I can't fully remember. In my head I think first, but I think it might have been the second month. And so in my head I just thought, oh, like I didn't get pregnant with my son quickly, and that was just because it was my first baby. Now my body's like warmed up to it, so I'm gonna have an easy time getting pregnant pretty much with every other child. That was my, bless my little naive brain, that's kind of how I thought the journey would go with this child. My kids have a 2-year and 1 month age gap, and ideally I would have wanted something similar for this next baby, but my daughter does turn 2 next month, so that has gone out the window. Like I said, I really did think I was going to fall pregnant in the first few months, but in the back of my mind I was feeling slightly anxious. Truth be told, I have never gone on birth control since going off birth control with my son, and I will say the first few months of us like trying, I wasn't like trying like tracking my ovulation and doing all these things. I was just kind of like looking at the app, seeing what it said, and you kind of catch the drift. I wasn't like super rigid with it, but I would say the last, I don't even know, like 5-ish months, maybe 6 months, I've been like tracking my ovulation. I will say I did not get my period back. I wish I could check my phone now. I did not get my period back until my daughter was like 18 months, so that's only been like 6 months ago. And I was breastfeeding her up until like a month or so ago, so that kind of affects everything. Anyway, I had been feeling pretty anxious about it the last couple of months, like just feeling really stressed about everything, and feeling like, I don't know, just feeling really discouraged by everything. I was getting like really withdrawn from friendships. I was just really in my head and quite miserable, to be honest. And this last month, so the month of February, I had felt so like calm. I just felt like, okay, everything is just gonna be okay. Like I wasn't sure I was gonna fall pregnant that month, but I just felt like this sense of calmness. I kind of went back to my normal personality. I wasn't putting so much pressure on myself. And so yeah, on March 11th, I believe, is the date that I took my pregnancy test. I'm just looking at my phone to just like double confirm. It's the day after Mother's Day, so yeah, March 11th. I think my period was due the next day or the day after. I honestly didn't really have any symptoms, which with the kids, this is so TMI, I can't believe I share these things on the internet. Luckily not too many people watch my YouTube, so it's okay, but my symptom with my other 2 kids was like a lot of discharge. I just didn't really have that this time, but I just wanted to kind of test and just to kind of see. Now I stopped buying the expensive digital tests after like month 3, 4, 5 of getting negatives, because it was just obviously a waste of money, and I just had like the little strips. And so yeah, I took the strip test and I could see a faint line. And then I just started to like really get in my head. I'm going to insert that footage here and you can kind of watch it and yeah, see what's going on. I don't really want to get my hopes up because I just don't feel like it's gonna come back positive. Oh gosh, I nearly broke my I'm sitting on my laundry basket. I can't form my thoughts. I just don't want to get my hopes up, but every month that this goes on, the more I'm like, is it going to happen? I obviously know my body can do it because I've been pregnant twice. This is technically the first cycle that I've not been breastfeeding. My battery's about to die. My battery's about to die. Let's just look. Let's just look, because I feel like if it's going to have a positive line... Oh, it's got literally nothing. Actually, wait. No. I think I'm getting line eyes. I'm not joking though, no. I feel like it would be deeper in colour. I just think I've got line eyes. Or I thought, I don't know. Wait. Let's just wait. Because technically there's still 2 more minutes. And I think I was getting line eyes and now I've got my hopes up. Because I saw what I think was a faint line. So we'll just wait 2 more minutes and be patient. If the vlog camera dies, it dies. That. Okay. I can't tell. I swear that's the faintest line. Can you see that? I think that's a line. Shiz. Am I getting line eyes? This is why you buy the expensive ones that say pregnant. I don't know what to do. I actually think that might be a line. I'm pretty sure that's a line. So as you can see, I was like sure and then not sure, and I was just like, now looking back now, I obviously saw the line. The line was there. So I didn't know it was positive, but I just like didn't want to get my hopes up. So I went the next morning. I didn't tell Trent that night, and I went to Tesco's and got a digital test. It was one that said like pregnant, and then it would tell you how many weeks. And I did take that, and I recorded that as well. I actually haven't watched any of this footage back, so when I'm editing this, it's going to be my first time watching it, which is kind of sad and kind of, I don't know, I have some mixed feelings about it, but I'm going to insert that here. But what I wanted to note was in the video, I was kind of panicked because it said pregnant 1 to 2 weeks, and I should have been further along than that. And so I think that kind of was the first red flag. But I also have never taken a test that has the weeks, so I thought maybe I've just been a bit dramatic. I was like, don't be negative, be positive, because I feel like most pregnant people can relate to that you do kind of think the worst, and you do kind of get in your head until like further down the line. So I'm going to insert that footage and we can watch my reaction to for sure seeing the pregnant line. Okay, let's just look and see if it's done. Shut the hell up. I know. Can you see that? I don't know what to do. It's still loading. I think it's going to say how many weeks. the 1 to 2 is kind of scaring me because according to my period I should be 4. But I'm not going to panic just yet. Now I'm thinking, I need to speak to somebody. I need to tell Trent. So I finally got my first like pregnant in obviously a long time since I got my pregnant with my daughter. I'd kind of been thinking about ways that I wanted to tell Trent. I just like needed to tell him that day. And so my plan was, I was telling him we were doing like this TikTok trend where you basically get like all these things in a bag and you're like from the kitchen and your partner has to like guess what it was. And so I just grabbed random things from the around the kitchen and then I put the pregnancy test in and I showed him that last. And I thought this was actually kind of like a cute idea for just like last minute. But what I will preface this with is he does not have like the greatest reaction. Not that he's like not excited, but like that's just his personality. He's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's this is amazing. Like that's just not who he is. He needs like time to digest things. And yeah, he doesn't have like a crazy exciting reaction, but it still makes me laugh nonetheless. So I'm gonna insert that in here as well. Okay. I'll start off.
I close my eyes right now.
Yeah, start off easy.
Orange.
Yeah. Blood orange actually, but it looks just like an orange. Okay. This is kind of easy too, I guess.
Fruit pouch.
Yeah.
Syringe. A little brush to clean. Some like stuff they put on their ice cream sprinkles.
Yeah.
No idea what this is. I don't know. It's a pregnancy test. You're pregnant.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good, huh? Oh, that's funny. Oh, I came up with that on the spot, that idea.
It worked. Huh? It worked. I know I had like a... I'm supposed to have a crazy reaction. There, my reaction.
Oh, that's funny.
Do we have like a... Here, you pull it. It's probably not even going to do anything.
No, it feels it. I can't, it hurts. Yay! Oh! Get your mic over it. Get your mic over it. And yeah, I think that part is going to be kind of like sad and happy to watch back. But that was the same day that I found out I was pregnant, or like for sure pregnant, which was Tuesday the 12th, I believe. Yes. A funny, just like little anecdote. Is that anecdote? I don't even know if it's the right word. But with my other 2 kids, see when I took my pregnancy test and I got pregnant, I never took another pregnancy test ever again. Like I was not testing every day to make sure the line was getting darker. I just like called, booked an appointment. I lived in America for both of them at the time, and I think I was able to be seen at like 7-8 weeks, and that was that. I didn't do anything more. My camera died mid recording that, but we're back. I think what the last part I said was that with the other 2 kids, I just took like the 1 pregnancy test and I never tested again. And this time I took, I want to say like 1 or 2 like more. So I took that 1 on Monday, took 1 on Tuesday, and I think I took 2 more of the little strips. And the lines weren't getting lighter, but they weren't necessarily getting like much darker. And so I was like, you know, that had gone in the back of my mind. I will say, before we get into kind of like the miscarriage and all that, my due date was supposed to be, I think, November 17th. And I am very much like, not OCD, but I get really in my head about certain things. And I have said for the longest time that I do not want a baby in December. I just think December is the worst month to have a baby. Don't want a baby in January because my birthday's in January. Don't want a baby in February because Trent's birthday's February. My son's March, my daughter's April. So like those were like the 5 months throughout the year I did not want a baby, and so like when I didn't get pregnant in May of last year, like for a May due date, I didn't have a June due date, July, August, like as I was ticking all these months off, and I got that like positive pregnancy test, and I realized like my due date was like the end of November. I was like, this is like literally everything I wanted. This was like the most perfect timing. I have a friend who had a baby in November, and she kept sending me to Jessica. This was before she knew I was pregnant in November, but she always said like November was like her favourite month. She loved having like a newborn at Christmas, and like, I don't know, I kind of just get like chills thinking about it, but November just like felt like everything I had wanted. And yeah, I was very excited to get that pregnancy result, but now looking back, I definitely wasn't like, I just didn't feel the same way that I did with the other kids. I don't know how to explain it. I think maybe with all the negatives, I just didn't really have my hopes. I don't know, it's really hard to explain because I did have so many negatives with my son too, but this time just feels kind of different. The stakes feel higher. This is probably going to be, if I get pregnant again, my last baby, and yeah, there just felt like a lot riding on it, and I just felt like so content with November. It just felt really perfect. But anyway, on the Wednesday the 20th, I woke up that morning and I felt like what I thought was just really heavy discharge, and I was like, oh yeah, like that's normal, that's kind of like how I get the first trimester. And I went to the bathroom and I realised it was blood, and I wouldn't say I panicked right away. I did bleed with both of my other pregnancies, so I was kind of like expecting that, but it did just felt different. Like, I just don't know how to explain it, but that was fine. I kind of told Trent, I just said like, I just need to lie in bed this morning and just like kind of take it easy, and you take the kids downstairs. I think you took my son to school, and then just like my daughter came up and sat beside me. I just kind of felt sorry for myself in the morning, to be honest, and just kind of relaxed. I was just trying not to like overly panic, because I was like, you know what, bleeding's normal, like it's not gushing, it's not like crazy heavy, but it was consistent. And a couple more hours go by and I was like lying downstairs. I was just like, I was genuinely just feeling sorry for myself. And then it was about like 1:30. I thought, you know what, I haven't taken a pregnancy test in like 3, 4, 5 days at this point. Maybe I'll just take one and just to like reassure myself. I had given myself a pep talk in the bath. I was like, positive thinking, like you're just overthinking it. But at this point the bleeding had not stopped. So I was like, this is a little bit different than the other two kids. So I did take a pregnancy test at that point. I need to preface this, sorry, there's just so much in my brain. I had only told Trent at this point. I hadn't told anybody else. I probably would have told my parents in the coming weeks, just because when I got sick. And yeah, I probably wouldn't have told many other people until further down the line, besides maybe Megan and Daisy. Where was I going with this? Oh yes, I took the pregnancy test and the line was so faint on the pregnancy test, and at that minute, I'm not gonna lie, my heart just dropped. I sat up in this room, I was by myself, trying to time with the two kids, and I actually texted my friend Megan, because she had literally just texted me at like that exact moment. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. She literally just texted me at that exact moment and just was like, are you okay? Because I had kind of been not speaking in the group chat. Me, her and Daisy have group chat, and I just like texted her right away and said, I think I've had a miscarriage. Like, it was the first person I told. I hadn't even told Trent yet. And I just had a little cry to myself. I honestly sat up here and cried for like probably 30 minutes. And honestly, I was just kind of gutted that like, I don't know, I just was gutted that like I had lost out on like what I'd felt like I'd said before, like perfect timing. I was like, oh, November baby, like this is gonna be so good. And I just like had planned all these things. I was like, it's a 2.5-year age gap. Like, I don't know, I just felt really good about it. So then obviously that happened, and it's like you're grieving the loss of what could have been. Anyway, I did text Trent to come upstairs and kind of told him what happened, and we had our moment, and that's fine. And then I also texted my mum and just kind of told her what was going on as well. it's funny that I record these videos and I'm like so talkative and talk about my feelings, and if you knew me in real life, if you're my family or my friend, you know that I don't say any of this kind of stuff to them. Like, I'm just not good at dealing with that stuff. Like, couldn't phone my mum and tell her. Like, I'd just text her. Like, I even text her, and like, I'm so bad. So yeah, that was it. I just was really upset and sad, honestly, most of that day. I did get around to making dinner, which was good. It kind of distracted me. I really enjoy like cooking and baking and stuff, so that's always good for me to do. And yeah, I just kind of went to sleep that night, and no day has been as bad as that. I will say, for me personally, all of the negative tests, as sad as it sounds, has really prepared me for that moment, in that I was disappointed every month when it wasn't happening on the timeline that I wanted. And then this felt like November was like the last month that I wanted it to happen, and then it didn't. It did happen and then it didn't. It just felt kind of like nearly the same as every other month. Like, in that sense, at this point I'd take a Christmas baby. Like, that's the desperation levels we're at. But I had a few like talking points now that I've kind of like told the story. There's really not much more to it. It's been 6 days since I obviously found out. I posted about it on social media yesterday. What I will say is, the post that I made, I'll link it in the video if, like in this video if you haven't seen it, but the post that I made, the first half of the video was what would have been my pregnancy announcement video. I had edited that and had it sitting ready to go. It was basically, I cut some of it out, but it was basically like a couple of my negative pregnancy tests before I got pregnant, and then it transitioned into me taking the first test, being shocked, or crying, me taking the second test, shocked, a couple of cute clips of telling Trent, and then it would have transitioned into like going to our first scan, my baby bump, and then I would have posted it when we were like further along and into the second trimester. And of course the video ends a little bit differently from that, but yeah, that was kind of like bittersweet for me. I personally felt like deleting that video would have been so heartbreaking for me. Like, those are such happy moments, and I'd spent like so long making that first part of the video, and I really loved it, and I felt like I could never use those beginning clips again for a second, like if I got pregnant in a few months time, just because like I couldn't skip the part about a miscarriage. So I couldn't have like all these negative tests and then a positive test and like miss that part out. So it just felt like that pregnancy announcement for me is never going to happen the way I wanted it. So at least I got that video out, if that makes any sense at all. But sorry, I have some like talking points that I wanted to talk about, like in relation to miscarriage. The first one being about like early loss. I was so panicked to post my video. I even changed the caption. It initially said trigger warning miscarriage, and I was like, okay, I need to change it to trigger warning early miscarriage. I genuinely thought I was going to get so many negative comments because I was only 5.5 weeks when I miscarried, and I don't know, I just hadn't heard of too many people talking about miscarriages that soon or early on, and I thought a lot of people would just think I was being overly dramatic by making this like whole elaborate video to announce a miscarriage of when I was only pregnant for like 1 week. And I cannot tell you how many people like reassured me in like ways I didn't know I needed. Like, I just, yeah, I thought in my head, am I being dramatic? And then when I posted it and got all these comments, I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt like so validated. And so that's kind of my message to anybody else, like whether you're 8 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know how early you can even find out, like, and you've, a loss is a loss, as a lot of people were saying. I do feel like for me, I am glad it happened earlier and not later, because I do feel like that has helped me in healing. I'm not as, I wasn't maybe as attached to it. I hadn't made as many plans in my head. You know, I hadn't told anybody, I hadn't had any scans, so it really hadn't felt real to me. So like I said, like when I got the negative, like not pregnant, it did just kind of then start to feel like every other month in a way, just maybe slightly heavier. I also guess like the point that I posted the video, the reason I posted it was because when I actually had the miscarriage, I started to look up other people's videos and I really didn't see a whole ton. I feel like I follow so many people at the minute who are pregnant and getting pregnant, and that's honestly great and I'm so happy for them. But nobody seems to talk about the journey to getting pregnant. Now, I don't know if I will share much now until maybe I get pregnant. I don't know, depending on how long this journey is. I will probably share like in hindsight, maybe after I get pregnant, about it. But I just feel like all you see on social media is like these amazing pregnancy announcements, and I hope to do those someday, but you don't see like all the hard work that kind of goes on behind the scenes. And so if you're someone who struggles to fall pregnant, or takes a long time, or has infertility and all these other issues, like when you're only ever seeing people like who just seem to be getting pregnant after 1 month, or who accidentally get pregnant, it is so difficult. And I don't know, I felt like posting mine, even though my journey has not been years and years and years trying to conceive. I've had one miscarriage. Like, I don't have the most difficult journey. I just feel like showing the real side of things, showing that not all the journeys are like, you know, like instant. They're not like up. Sometimes the journeys are like this. I do hope that that helps some people out there. Yeah, that was kind of the thought behind that. I did a video today on TikTok, just kind of like recapping just a few of my thoughts. And I kind of wanted to reiterate that point here as well, that my mum has 5 kids. She had 4 kids, and I'm number 5. So she had 4 healthy pregnancies, and after her 4th, what would have been her 5th pregnancy, she did have a miscarriage. And then she got pregnant with me, you know, like within the span of time that she would have been pregnant with that other child. And something that's been giving me so much like hope and like peace is that like I was my mum's rainbow baby. I don't think she would ever call me that, or it's not like a term she ever used. It's not, she never really talked much about the miscarriage, but just now, like when I've had one myself, I was the rainbow baby. And something about that feels like really special, that I am the rainbow baby. And like as horrible as it sounds, like I wouldn't have been born if my mum didn't have a miscarriage. And so part of me is obviously grateful that my mum had a miscarriage. I think that sounds so weird. So me, like my version, like my me, if that makes sense, like my baby that is me would not have been born, or would not be born if I didn't have a miscarriage. And so I don't know, I'm trying to find a lot of comfort in that. And yeah, it's actually been like one of the things that I've just like been really holding on to. Yeah, I don't know, there wasn't much more to say on that, but I think sometimes you can just find like a piece of information, or like a piece of something that will give you that little bit of hope. And for me, it has been that. I will also say my heart goes out to anybody who is dealing with like miscarriages and stuff when they don't have kids already. I can tell you that like the first few days I just was like, you know what, like this is devastating and it really sucks. But at the end of the day, like I have 2 really healthy kids, and if I never get pregnant again, I am still happy with my family of 4. Like I will be happy. I have my boy, I have my girl, like I have everything I need. Even though I'd love one more baby, like I have everything that I need, and I have 2 healthy kids, and I could not ask for anything more. And that has also brought me so much peace, just like having them. I don't know, I do really, my heart goes out to anyone like that doesn't have kids and is going through this, because I cannot imagine, honestly, how difficult that journey would be. The kids have really been like a saving grace in this, and the kids just make you get up and go on with life. Life doesn't stop, which for me, I kind of need. Another thing, I think I've hit all my points, but another thing is on the Sunday, so I miscarried on a Wednesday. On the Sunday I had to speak in church, and it's kind of funny, on the Saturday night, I'm just literally rambling at this point, on the Saturday night, probably nobody's even made it to this point of the video, which can be a good part because I don't really like people seeing me cry, but on the Saturday night I was writing the talk for church, and I can't even remember what the topic was at this point, but I was trying to think of some of the examples of some hard things I had overcome in my life. It was relating to the talk in some way, and I was like, I actually like never gone through anything honestly really that difficult. I've had 2 grandparents die, but one was when I was like a baby and one was like 5 years ago, but I lived in America, which I felt like really helped me kind of like detach from it and made like the grieving process a little bit easier because I wasn't seeing my granddad every day, I wasn't talking to him every day. So although I was like really sad, and that's kind of like where I named my son from, I was really sad about it. It just like the grieving process was quite easy. I've never dealt with like a lot of loss. I've never dealt with things that are like extremely difficult, and I did feel like my time was kind of up in that sense, and I don't know, I just like thought that was kind of ironic that I had had that feeling and then I had this. And what I will say is nobody wants to go through anything hard. Like, we all want an easy life, let's get real here. But I don't know, I have learned some things about myself in the last like few days. Like, I really do think I am so much stronger than I ever gave myself credit for. I've really thought I was going to be like a broken mess every single day, and that's totally fine if that's how you are. But I've really been okay because I am just trying to be so positive now. It's only been 2 weeks. The more negative pregnancy tests I get, the more months go on, like I may feel differently, but in this moment I do feel a lot of peace and comfort, and yeah, I just feel like a lot of positivity that things are not going to happen when I want them to happen because they haven't happened when I want to happen, and I'm kind of letting go of control at this point because yeah, like that's all I can really do. And yeah, I hope this video was helpful to someone. I really wasn't planning on sharing these videos. I really wasn't planning on talking about the miscarriage too much. But I felt like with sharing on TikTok and the amount of comments and the amount of messages I've received, like I'm still going through the messages, I felt like I maybe owed it to talk about it. A lot of people were saying like how grateful they were that I shared a video, which is just funny because it just felt like a 1-minute video that wouldn't help anybody. It was just nearly helping me. And I feel like hopefully this in some way helps somebody, or helps them to feel like they're not alone, or I don't know, offers a different perspective on things. Yeah, it's been a really interesting few weeks, and I know the weeks to come, maybe the emotions are going to go up and down. The minute I'm feeling good, we have a holiday booked here and we're going in a few days, and I think that's really given me something to look forward to kind of get my mind off things. And yeah, this is probably the most real honest I have ever been on the internet, on any of my platforms. And yeah, if you made it this far, I do really appreciate it. And I hope that whether you've had a miscarriage or you haven't had a miscarriage, you've never been pregnant, you don't want to be pregnant, like any of those things, that, I don't know, you found something in this video helpful. And I promise the next videos will not be this sad, but this is just part of vlogging your life, I guess. So I will see you next time. Bye.